Siempre real y sincero, de Copenhague hasta el Caribe. Siempre real y sincero. Oh, yeah, dímelo.
Say I never settle for less, triple down on positivity. Dark clouds, they come and they go all the time. My eyes on the prize, so I pay them no mind. And always giving my best.
So everyone, welcome back after commercial break. You're listening to Radio Dawn 107.6 FM live transmission with Pam and Mashal. And the program is, the show is Happy Empathy Hour.
We are happy today.
Yes, and we have a very nice guest today, Giles Matzel, the head of Equality, Diversity, Inclusion from QMC, right? Nottingham University. Nottingham University Hospitals. Yes.
Just above correction.
Thank you for the correction.
That's quite all right.
And while we were on the break, just want to, before I start the conversation which we were having, we were offline, not on air. We will talk about it. But if any one of you want to be a part of this nice conversation and talk to Giles live on, you can call us on our telephone lines, which is 0115-8411-800 or 0115-8411-900. You can even send your WhatsApp messages on 073-1213-9494. And simultaneously, we are live on our YouTube channel as well, where you can see us on YouTube. And Giles is waving to everyone. And I'm glad we have such a nice, smiling face who's making our day today. Right, Pam?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, very kind of you to say.
Yes.
Because it's also Ramadan from the 1st of March, and we were talking about the patient in the hospital. Because we get different culture as well, and elderly people as well, it would be nice to get some volunteer in as well. Do they have to go through a check as well?
Yes, they do. Yes,
They do.
yeah, the volunteer service. Yeah, so if anybody's interested in that, they can just get in touch and with the hospital, and we'll put them through to the service lead. And they have to go through some checks, but we try to, I think, match people up with what they want to do as well. So there's opportunities there.
All right. Just to ask you, what those checks are mainly for, your skills or what?
Well, skills, but also things like DBS, obviously, making sure that people are able to, work with young people and so on, and everything's checked out. So that's it's part of that regulation.
So want more, passionate, dedicated, and energetic team.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you've got energy, enthusiasm, if you're good with people, or perhaps you just want to help, those are the people that we would love to hear from.
Oh, that's really great.
But it's just like me, just to get somebody from the hospital to come on our show.
Mm-hmm.
They had to do a check on the program as well,
Mm-hmm.
and me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is a good thing. So it's the same when you go volunteering or go for a job.
Mm-hmm.
The CRB check to see if you got any criminal background.
That's right.
And everything else.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's called safety as well, isn't it?
Yes, safeguarding, absolutely.
That's perfect. So we were talking about, off air about yours being in a football team.
Yeah. So actually, let's be honest. we were having a bit of a dance. Well, I know I was. Your jingle is fantastic.
That's actually Pam's very, very old signature jingle.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I think it.
Friends are calling me a bit old now, right? That's it now.
That's now you've got.
It's
a good job I'm here, because that could be ageist,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes, exactly.
That's again judgmental. Oh, sorry for that.
Yeah, but
No, you're young at heart, so you cannot be.
It's only a number.
Age is just a number. Yes.
We were talking earlier on even about your job. You used to play football.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I used to play football very badly.
In the Asian side.
I did. It was an Asian team. It was a team at South Nottinghamshire College, actually, which I was invited into, and the football team's name was Mecca. It was it was 5-a-side. Yeah, we used to play on the Thane Road near Boots on the outdoor pitches there, and it was a really interesting time for me. I was the only non-Muslim that was playing.
Oh, right.
But it did provide me with some really important insights, actually, and and we had some really lovely times. And I was so grateful to be invited in. And I remember the guy that invited me. He was one of the head librarians. His name was Saf. I don't know what his surname was, but unfortunately I can't remember. But I'll be forever eternally grateful to Saf for that invitation, because again, it taught me cultural awareness, and it also we had a lot of fun, but it also made me aware, actually, on a sadder note, that unfortunately, as there is in sport, and I'm pleased that things have progressed and kicking racism out of football and Islamophobia and so on. But I did experience and I did witness some really unhappy things that happened there as well. But that's a long time ago, and I hope that we have moved on as a society, although we do know that there's always challenges. So I know this is Empathy Hour, and it's the focus is on happiness, but it's important to recognise
Highlight,
that,
yes,
that
yes.
that
That's
still
a very
happens.
important subject.
But
Yes,
we
I
talk about these
Yes.
things anyway.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
though it's a happy empathy hour, we're laughing, we're talking, called communication.
Yeah.
You know, but unless you go into all community, the Asian community, the Black community, sometime when you go, you're white, they say, oh, what this white guy doing here? Or if you go to a wedding, oh, what you doing here? But you experience it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can talk about it as well,
Yeah.
which is very, very good.
Yes.
Yeah. So would you do the footballing again?
Would I do it? I'm probably getting a bit old now for that, unfortunately, Pam. Yeah, I mean, I know that you know, people viewing might think that I could still sign for a Premier League team, but it's just not going to happen, I'm afraid.
I think I've got an idea anyway. I've been talking about it for a while. We got the Forest Recreation Ground, yeah? We can get some people, elderly people and men as well, in a wheelchair. We can go there, play football, or we can go there, play cricket.
That's a very good idea. That's
Isn't it?
really excellent. Yeah.
That's a really great idea.
It is.
They do something called walking football now as well, which is, excuse me, I think it's for the over 50s, which I would qualify for that as well. So non-contact, you're not allowed to run, and I'm sure it'd be wheelchair accessible.
It's excellent, yeah.
And get them out as
Yeah.
well.
So in
Yeah.
other way, you're disclosing your age to me. I thought you're so young.
Well, do you think of me differently now?
Yeah. No, but as Pam said, age is just a number.
Indeed.
It's how young you are at heart and how empathic you are.
But it's really fantastic of
Yes.
you to come, because I bet you haven't been to an Asian radio talk show before, and the building.
The
Yeah.
last time I came on a was actually at the Crimea Institute with I was invited with Musharraf.
Dr. Musharraf.
Yes,
right.
Dr. Musharraf.
Dr.
yes.
Musharraf Hussain Al Azhari. He's our CEO, and he's a role model. He's a role model for many of us. Yes.
He is a truly inspiring person,
Yeah.
and it's just a privilege to have been invited to that event many
Yes.
years ago. What he didn't tell me was that after going up on stage, they were it was going live on radio. So it suddenly, with
Yeah.
a second's notice, my heart jumped about 100
Yeah.
beats, but it was still a really excellent occasion.
Yeah, and it's a very good point you've highlighted. He's doing so much, extra work for the community, and he really has a very good heart. And I don't know how he have that energy, because at this age, sometimes you become laid back, but he has so much of energy, and he does a lot of generous work for the community. And recently, we all have congratulated him, and I want to congratulate him once again on our show. He has got an honorary position as a professor in Nottingham University, as a professor of philosophy. That is a very honorable thing for us. And
Congratulations to him. That is
yes,
well
we really want to
deserved.
congratulate him. So he's, the skies are not a limit if you are aiming something high. The sky is not a limit. That's how things he looks into. That's what I've seen. I just want to have one more thing. When in today's polarized world, how can empathy play a role in bridging gaps and fostering understanding among diverse groups? It's a difficult question. Pam can also answer, but I haven't. It's like polarized world, and empathy is where sometimes, as you mentioned, people are judgmental, biased, and there are
Mhm.
so much things going on. People are so materialistic, so selfish, looking in for their things. So how we can, empathy can, bridge the gaps in the.
It's education again, isn't it? You have to educate people. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do that from a young age as well. Because when I was going to school, we didn't have this amount of racism. I used to go in the Asian home. They used to come in our home.
Mhm.
Used to sit down, have a cup of coffee or have food. In today's society, a
Mhm.
lot of generation parents, they don't do that anymore. But when you were younger, we didn't talk about Asian. We didn't.
No.
There was hardly any discrimination at all. It's just one big happy family. But then again, people listen and they can take it a bit too far. So
Yeah.
education, instead of frightened to talk about it.
Yes, I think you're right. It is.
Thank you.
It is about keeping that conversation going and so on. And actually, sometimes it's just bringing people together
Mm.
and having prompts for discussion. Now, I remember many years ago there was an organisation called Build. I don't know if you remember that, Pam, but they used to do something called cross-cultural networks. Cross-cultural networks actually brought different people together, very diverse people, faith, ethnicity, age, etc. And we used to sit down and we used to have a meal, and we used to talk about a number of subjects that were placed on cards in front of us. And there was some ground rules about being respectful and listening to everyone's point of view, etc. And that's been a template for how I've always tried to run training events in my organisations, and I've been fortunate to work for, because you have to keep the conversation going and flowing. I know that in today's society there is sometimes very polarized views about
Yes.
things, but there is also a middle ground, and it's also about sometimes conceding and making concessions, because that's how we develop and thrive as a society, by making those concessions. And there is nothing worse than when the walls go up, the barriers come down, and people take, as you say, polarized views. It's very difficult to get out of that situation. But just start with school, and I know that they have a number of initiatives, and I think that as you go through life into the working world, we try to maintain that. So again, with our networks, what we've got something happening in May for our staff, which is you might call it a cross-cultural network, but it's what we call an intersectionality
Okay.
event, which will bring different people together to share ideas.
That's
And actually,
excellent.
when you
yeah.
share ideas, in times of where there's not much funding or money that's going around, you actually get better economies of scale as
Mhm.
well, because people are more likely to work together and collaborate.
Mhm.
And that's how
Yes,
that's
yeah.
how we try to move forwards.
That's excellent. Really
You said
excellent.
in May, yeah?
Really excellent. And the important thing what he has mentioned here, which I just want to highlight to audience
It's
again.
okay.
Yeah, because he said the respect you have to give to each one, whatever culture, community it comes from, and let the conversation flow. That's how you have to, be very. You were saying something. I could see something is coming out of
I
you.
was just thinking, but it was similar when I started coming to the radio show anyway, and I said
Alright.
to people, right, I'm going to the Asian center as well.
Mhm.
And sometimes they say, oh, you can't do that. You know
Yeah,
where I'm coming
Yeah.
from.
yeah.
It's like they label the Asian, because you're
Mm.
Asian, they're telling me I can't go there. But mom, or friends, they're Muslim. They're this. So what's that got to do with anything? They're people. Yeah, they're human beings. As I keep saying, the amount of adopted Asian people that kids have got now is unbelievable.
Mhm.
And yet some of them don't know me.
Yeah.
And that's how we should look at life. Love, hope, and with everybody else
Yes.
share. Because, the world will be a better place.
Yes. I remember when I was small, and when my daughter was small, so I used to remember the phrase, sharing is caring.
Yes.
So I always used to tell that. So this is how we have to be Just
Yeah.
I brought this phrase right now here because sharing is caring. She used to always sing, and sharing is caring with her sisters also. So this is how we have to build a community, sharing in everything. It's either it's your needs of the brothers, either you're sharing a conversation with them, or either you are sharing the problems, hearing out the problems, because people could be introvert and extrovert, how you mentioned. There could be some people extrovert, some introvert. So we needs to be more of sharing kind of nature which we used to have.
Sometimes it's only take one person to make a difference.
Yes,
You know.
absolutely.
Because we can see a elderly person or somebody out there, maybe they're lonely as well.
Yeah.
But make that effort just to say hello,
Yes.
but you might not get a response.
Mhm.
But at least you've done it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
made an effort.
Yeah, you make
That's
an effort.
important.
And
So-
That's
just
right.
by saying hello to somebody,
Yes.
go home and think about it.
That's
and then
right.
you feel better. What's your view on that?
Well, it's the same in the hospital as what there's something in the news recently around people complaining people spend too long at checkouts. And actually, for some people, that's the first time in a supermarket. It's the first time they get into, that's the only interaction they might have with somebody all day long. And some of the organisations that were asked to comment on this have said that's absolutely fine if that's actually helping someone's health and mental well-being. Yes, we will spend an extra 30 seconds corresponding with that person because it makes such a huge difference to their life. It's, in the rapid life that we all lead now, it is taking that time and sharing that compassion and being empathetic to other people. I mean, a part of inclusion and diversity now, one of the things which is being highlighted is around neurodivergent people and neurodiversity. And quite often, people that don't look like they might want to engage actually may have the best ideas. It's about drawing that out and creating that platform to have those conversations. But going back to what you said, Pam, absolutely, people first, and we have to challenge ourselves. And by happy coincidence, our organisational strategic approach is called People First, for that very reason.
That's excellent.
When I was in hospital, you know what I did? I'd make so many friends with the doctors and nurses, and then the cleaners as well. So when they come, even though I was in hospital, I decided to get the mop and the brush and start cleaning.
You share that with us in the last year.
Yeah,
So
and
yes.
then I make my own bed and everything
Yeah.
else. And what's lie there depending when you
Yes.
can do something.
And that's what what you're talking about. Someone has to make an effort. Someone has to show
Yeah.
to do it, and you share that on air with us, with our audience and listeners. So one act of kindness, one person doing it as becomes exemplary for everyone.
Can you
That's
imagine when you go to the hospital or somewhere and you see the staff running up and down? They're looking after somebody. Yeah, and sometimes because we got a certain appointment or things like that, we need to be seen there and then. They can't just drop everything to go and deal with you. And sometimes that's what people go high and start music. Am I right?
I think you are. I think actually sometimes staff are very hard pressed to meet everyone's needs all at the same time, and unfortunately sometimes there can be delays, or they can't get to everybody as they want, and that does create sometimes a little tension points. So thank you for your contribution in helping with that. That's really kind of you to say. And as Michelle says, it is leading by example, really. Not that we would expect everybody to grab a mop and start doing that.
someone has to start and become an
Can you
example.
imagine- Can you imagine you go there and you're either sitting in a chair or you're lying in your bed watching everybody? No, I'm more active, even though they say you're not allowed to do it. But I feel comfort doing it. But everybody's not like me, are they?
That's great.
And you probably take pride in your work as well, I imagine. I get a
She
sense of that
does, she
from you.
does.
Yes.
She does she does everything from the heart, and that's what I've noticed. Everything from the heart. That's
That's
what
we call genuine.
genuine. Yeah.
Genuine.
So, just coming to you back, like what do you think the future of EDI looks like? Like, what progress do you see in the next decade? Like, how do you see it will be coming up in futures progressing?
Well,
I could see like what you mentioned and highlighted, a lot of progressive and productive steps coming up. Yeah,
yeah,
but still,
I mean, I think health inequalities will be the big thing. I
Mm.
mean, we know that health inequalities existed for a very long time. The NHS does have research observatories that are looking in much closer detail about how different inequalities affect different groups, different people, etc., and understanding how we can work together as a society. What we call systematic inequalities, to address those. So I am ever hopeful. I mean, I've worked in EDI, gosh, nearly over 25 years, but we have seen such significant improvements over that time. Some of that's been driven by legislative changes, but actually, what makes me most optimistic is the young people. And the young people that I see working at our organisation, that are involved in our networks, that are really driving things for us. And we talked about how we were. I'm guessing we might be a similar age, because I can remember not labelling people and just going to a school friend's house who happened to be a different ethnicity to me, and it was never mentioned. We just got on, and when the sun went down, we had to go back home, but we played out and never thought anything about it. But and I think we're getting back to that. I get a sense of that, which is really heartening, and also I think there is a lot of people that now are wanting to make a difference, and will speak what we call this term truth to power, which is, and as an employer, we're an employer of choice for people as well. So if it's not the right place for them, if we're not doing the right things or saying the right things, or they don't feel, more importantly, that they belong in an organisation such as ours, then they'll choose to work elsewhere. And that's what's driving a lot of change. And there is choice in this. So, people don't have to put up with a place that doesn't make them feel included. So that's what I'm optimistic about, those changes that are happening.
But also, if you notice some of these generations, they haven't got a role model in their life like what we did. We have grandma we could go to.
Yeah.
We've got uncle that
Yes.
we could go to and sit down and talk to them. But a lot of society today, they haven't got that.
Yeah.
They spend more time on the mobile phone or the internet.
Yeah, it's a fast-paced world, and now everyone is becoming so like how important the relationships were given earlier. But it's kind of a very saddening thing. But it's not like that. What Pam is highlighting, it's not as similar as this. She's right.
Yes, I think I was watching some things on YouTube about community cohesion and so on, and that is one of the factors, actually, having somebody to look up to generationally for guidance and support is a contributory factor in being a more rounded and human being, and able to have insights, and not always your way is not always the right way. Absolutely, there is concessions to be made.
Yeah, but learning, you can learn.
Yeah.
But we all got to learn by mistake as well.
Yes.
Unless we make mistake, how are we going to learn?
Yeah.
A mistake is something you learn from. Oh, I'm not going to do that. But it's a role model.
Yeah.
A lot of them hasn't got it. So since these children, the authority take away the right from the parents and teachers, the kids, they're gone wild. They can't get cane. They don't discipline anymore.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Yep, that's
So
right.
You can say
It's okay. No, it's so I grew up in that type of environment, and I think sometimes there's a place for everything, but also in a very strong environment, I think sometimes it restricts personal growth and
Yeah.
development sometimes. So knowing the rules, knowing the parameters, knowing that you can't always do what you want to do,
Yeah.
but there are consequences. Absolutely. I think it makes you a more rounded person. But I can't comment on the generations of today. But what I see at the hospital and what I see from our staff, who are much younger, really inspires me actually, and I think that they have more confidence. They have a lot more confidence for sure than I certainly did at that age, and that can only be a good
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a positive thing, looking at the other side, that they're more confident than we used to be. But another important thing which is mentioned about is environment, the consequences and environment which you grow in helps a lot in these kind of developments and all, right? And that's a very important thing. And with the conversation is going on, oh, we are running out of time. We have to wrap up our show. But before we wrap up our show, because it is 4:57 in our dials already, just want to, Giles, to you, any final message you want to give it to, our audience and listeners regarding the empathy and the inclusion together?
Oh well, I think it's to summarise what we've been talking about, really, which is as Pam says, people first. Try not to be judgmental. Try to be compassionate and show empathy in everything that you
Right.
do. You don't know what's going on in someone's
Life,
life,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I always say to you all is, if I'm feeling a bit lower, I always says, if I don't talk or talk to you about certain things, how are you going to know how I feel?
Yes.
You won't know until
Yeah.
you talk about it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for any of our patients, please, if you're feeling isolated, or just talk to a member of staff. As I say, the spiritual and pastoral care team are there to support you. They will come and sit with you as well, and help you through what can be very tough, challenging times. And they're there for the patients as well as visitors and family. So just please do reach out. There's always somebody there for you.
Yeah. So speaking out is much better. This is the very key message he has given to the audience and listeners. And as per my, just a feedback and a compliment, I want to give it to you, the NHS team especially. I've been with my mother, and on and off too. Of course, I have done my visits also with the NHS, and the staff is really, with so much of stress, so much of shortage, and so much of patients they're dealing, different kinds, different people with different issues, different problems, and everyone has a different psychology also. They have to deal with it. Still, they are so kind, and there's this smile on their face, and the way they speak to you, that they are really paying attention to you and they're looking after you. That's a very important thing, which I really want to appreciate about NHS and the team and everyone.
But
You want
a
to,
lot of people's got different views about it anyway.
Yeah.
No matter what we do or say,
yeah,
people is going to find something to criticize about, but we can only talk about from our experience, not
Yes.
somebody else's
Yes.
experience.
Yes. So we wrap up our show now, and it's time for to say bye bye. And Giles, so much from bottom of my heart, thank you for taking out time for our audience and listeners. And it has been, such a time. We enjoy talking to him, and such an informative, insightful discussion we had today with you. And the
I've
best
noticed
part,
how happy he is.
yeah,
as
the
well.
best part was his smile. It was so permanent on his face. I can't keep that smile so for long. I try though, but it's not, mashallah, touch wood. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I wish you have a great day, and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And I want to appreciate from our team and our audience the Ramadan extension hours which you have come for us, especially, and you talk about so many Islamic things and all, which our patients can, audience and listeners can benefit from it. And the timing extended hours of the QMC is really remarkable.
That's good though. I never known it to
Yeah.
expanded like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time.
So Ramadan Mubarak, everybody.
Thank you so
Very
much.
welcome.
And Ramadan Mubarak from my side also. It's been just few counting hours now. The countdown is almost over. The counting hours now. So
Not long time.
yeah, not a lot of time. So Ramadan Mubarak to everyone from my side also, and
And
with
me
this,
as well.
and Pam also. And with this, we sign off. Allah Hafiz and take care. And thank you, Gels, once
Thank
again
you.
for being on our show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Guess what? We're invited to go to the
Are you looking for help in English, maths, and science? Salasa Tuition